morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Oh, wait. We're going to introduce ourselves.
Well, sometimes, it is what it is. Thank you for joining us on Talk to Them. This is our podcast. My name is Kennitha Wade. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Renauda Mitchell, your other host.
Hey.
And today we have with us
Charlisa. I'm Charlisa Harris of Chadowboxx Salon, Mylani Vegan Haircare. So It's your girl.
It is. That's my girl.
Yes.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be here. For real.
Yeah, we're grateful to have you.
Thank you.
I know every week is going to be interesting because one of us is going to be meeting somebody we don't know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, most of the time, not all the time. Sometimes it's somebody we both know, but I'm always like, "Ooh, I'm interested to meet this person." Like, I don't know this person's name.
I'm gonna try to be interesting. So
She hella interesting. Don't like
We
she's
sat here and
so
had a
entertaining
conversation that's just
as a
like,
person.
Already, I'm like, I understand.
I love it.
So
Yes.
I'm excited for today's episode. We'll start off with our check-in. My week this week, it's been interesting. Professionally, it's been a little interesting. Needing something that you ask for in a way, but feeling like you're a burden for asking for this thing to perform, to do this task you're asking me to do. I feel like I need this. And it's not, kind of being given the space to do what I need to do. I'm getting to a point where I feel like I need an office. I got phone calls to make. I got meetings that I have on a regular basis. And it's getting frustrating to try to do it in a cubicle setting.
Okay.
Because there are so many people who are talkative and, there are things going on around me that I need to focus. I got a task to do that's different from what everybody else's task is. So
she also needs a professional background sound in order to do a lot of her job.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't have it. And trying to get that space when my position is not one that has already been established.
Okay.
Or I'm transitioning into a job or position that's new. And it's like, okay, but I think I need these things to make this happen that way. And not really feeling like that's being considered. Considered by other people or it's interesting. It's been an interesting week.
Yeah, trying to navigate that when you're just not being listened to. I feel like that's life, though, too. Not just in the professional setting, but a lot of times we'll find that in other spaces, whether it be, romantic relationships, just certain things. Like, I know what I need in order to succeed or in order for me to be happy in this space, but you're not listening. So that's interesting to navigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't presented in the like, you're just not listening, but I've asked for a space or I need this because I'm having a lot of this and, just, well, do this. And that doesn't work and do this. Okay. None of that is working. So now I've come to the conclusion, like, I think I do need a space. So, and how can we figure that out?
Right.
But
the week has been weekend.
It has been. I can't really recall my whole week. I know I've been at work, not at work, trying to deal with the transition of like my dad passing or whatever. And it's like, I'm in a super weird space. Well, I don't think I'm in a weird space. People think I'm in a weird space.
Got you.
Like, people asking, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And they're like, are you sure? Yeah.
But that's the thing.
I'm
like,
sure.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm saying like checking on me and stuff like that is cool. I'm not like, I'm to a point now to where if I'm going through something, I still withdraw like I do. But if somebody checks in, I'm not like ignoring everybody.
Right.
I might ignore some people.
Yeah. Because you're not asking
I'm not
for the right reasons, most likely, or whatever.
But if my people ask, I'm good. Like I probably, if I wasn't, I'd let you know. I'm in coming into this 40s era, like we talk about a lot on the podcast, we're both 42. So in this transition of being more vulnerable, more open, more honest, more yourself, more authentic, I'm not scared to say that anymore to the people that I consider to be close. So like, if I'm really bothered, I might not come out and just say it, but if you ask, I'm going to tell you.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that authenticity, that just being real. And, I think something does happen after 40. I just turned 44.
Mm-hmm.
And something does happen after 40 that you just become a lot more or less apologetic about your needs, about the things that you want.
Yeah.
And just your voice. I think it takes us that long to find it.
It does.
And then after we find it, child,
like, you be like, oh,
we use it.
It's okay. They don't like me, but it's fine.
Right, that's
because
okay.
I was me.
And I'm okay with me. I've been with me for a minute. So I'm good with her.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. And then trying to I don't know. I'm a caretaker type person, so checking in on my brothers and my sister, and they're all taking it harder than me, but they all had a different relationship with him than I did. So, but it's still levels of we're all kind of in this like shock, disbelief, not denial,
right?
But shock, disbelief. Like, oh, okay. But for me, it kind of solidifies some things for me. Like, I don't have to worry about what our relationship may be. It just is what it is. It's final. There's a period at the end of that. I have an answer. Stuff like that. Like, that doesn't... Things that were a wonder in the back of my mind are no longer, because it's like, okay, well, this is what it is.
Yeah.
He's moved on to the second part of his journey, or whatever cycle he's on in his journey. And, we move forward. But people are like, are you... I'm like, I promise you I'm good. There was when my mom passed away, I wanted to get in the casket and go too. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I'm okay. I'm not there.
Yeah.
So I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But
almost sounds like it brought you some peace. Like there was that level of like the closure. Like there's no more unknowns. There's no more, other factors to navigate. Now at this point, it really just is what it is. And sometimes that does, like, maybe the reason why people are still not okay with your answer when you're saying you're okay, because that's not the way that they would normally handle things.
And I was
that's
thinking
not where
that
they
too.
would be.
For some people, the situation would be like, oh, all the what ifs. There are no what ifs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I watched my son go through that. His father passed in 2021. And it was a estranged relationship. But it's almost like he created a different narrative now that the person is no longer here, and I'm like, and I love you enough for, if that's what brings you peace, if that's what brings you some type of resolve with that you want to create a different narrative other than what is the reality. Sometimes that's what you have to do to cope as well. If that's what makes you sleep at night or, puts you in a place. Because I think sometimes the truth is more hurtful than the lie, so you do have to just kind of create whatever story is going to help you be okay.
Right.
So I've watched it.
Yeah. And I'm like, I lost my mom 19 years and some change ago. So I've gone through all different types of grief with her. The whole first year, I didn't grieve at all. I refused.
You just
wasn't doing it.
Thugging it out.
This didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then one day just woke up and was like, I need to get a job. I need to get it together. I need to do this. And then just started working on it. But so because of that, I never tell anybody how to grieve. I'll be like, you just, how can I support you?
Right.
If you need any support through this, because, we both lost, all parents at this point. And it's like, there's some people who they've never been through this before, or they've never had any loss before. And it's like, I don't want to tell you like I've been there, but I've been in so many stages of it. It's like, how can I support you? Do you need any support?
Right.
And where I prefer to support people the most is at that first like month or so after, when most people who were there like the first 3 days to a couple weeks are gone, and there's nobody but them there.
Yeah.
So,
and that's such a fragile time, it sounds like.
It is. It is. It's where you feel like, well, at least for me, is where I felt like I found out who was really for me at that space in my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing well. My only parent is gone.
Right.
And there's like 3 people here. But you know what? You don't need that many people. You know what I'm saying? 3 people can be enough.
Yeah.
So it was one of those lessons for me in that space.
And so this is a different feling.
Yeah, I'm good. But my circle is also already solid. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that makes a difference too.
Yeah.
I know that there's several people that I can just talk to if I need to just talk.
Right.
Nobody's gonna judge me or be like, "Why are you crying?" Or anything like that.
Safe spaces.
And it took 42 years to build it.
Right.
But yeah.
So how's your week been?
Ooh, child. It's been long. It's been a long week. It's been it's an interesting week because I think I always go through this phase after my birthday. I don't know what happens after a birthday because that technically is my new year.
I do that too.
Yeah, that's my new beginning. So I've been just like full-fledged in this mode of planning and, strategizing, and then also being okay with how much I want to give of myself. And I feel like that was like this week has been that week that I kind of got a glimpse of what life used to look like for me. Like I worked some extremely long hours this week, and it's a reminder of when my life was extremely unbalanced and when everyone else's needs were before mine, And so it was just kind of like I knew that it was a temporary situation, so I was okay with this week being a little bit more chaotic than normal. But it was also like confirmation, like, you've done right by establishing these boundaries and having these lessened business hours and things like that, and you're gonna be okay with that, So it's been a long week, but it's also been a really like beautiful week, I just got some amazing news. My baby's getting married.
No,
so yeah, so it's like it's been a combination of emotions this week, but I feel like I'm in a good space. When you have those just moments that are confirmation, like I'm good, I'm in a good. I like where we are right now.
Yeah.
And I'm also just excited because of the old me never took the time for myself. The old me never prioritized, family or even, like for instance, all of my family's in Seattle. I'm not, from here originally. And typically, I hope my family don't hear this, but typically I found myself like in the previous years feeling obligated to still show up and still put the obligations they've placed on me before what I really want to do. I am okay. I'm not going home next week for Christmas. And in other years, I would feel conflicted about that. And it wouldn't be because I didn't want to, because I knew I didn't want to. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it would be because I would be like, well, they're going to feel disappointed.
Right.
They're going to feel this way. They're going to feel that way. And just like the few conversations I had this week, even up until yesterday, was like, so what pajamas are you wearing for Christmas? I was like, I don't know, because I'm not coming. So, and just being okay with that. Yeah. So it's like, I've been seeing a lot of these exchanges as confirmations, and just being okay with like, okay, we like this space.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am. That's what my week has been like. Chaotic, eye-opening, and peaceful and confirmational.
Okay.
That sounds like a good week.
Right.
I mean, the chaotic, not so much, but I feel like the other two help to balance that out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So can you introduce your businesses? Like, I know who you are.
Okay.
But what are you?
So I'm a salon owner. I own Chadowboxx Salon. I opened in 2010. It's crazy to think that in March it'll be 15 years. And I feel like I've run the full gamut of all of the stages of business. I never started my business with a strategy or with a plan. I always knew that I wanted to be a salon owner since the age of 6, but we don't necessarily get the blueprint. I feel like life just orchestrated in a way that, most of my biggest moves that I've made, whether, professionally or personally, have been after I got mad.
Okay.
So some might piss me off into opening a business.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened. I was locked out of 2 salons and opened up. I was like, this will be the last time that I'm in the situation that people determine whether or not I'm able to feed my family.
Right.
I even went back to beauty school after working corporate. And when they just, abruptly let me go, I made the commitment to myself. I'm never going to give anybody the ability to determine if I'm able to take care of myself. And at that point, I had 2 kids. So, definitely not going to put me in the position whether or not I'm able to take care of them. So, when I opened my business, it was kind of that same type of vibe. Like, oh, you guys got me messed up. Okay. So now we're salon owners,
Right.
And then started my product line in 2017. I'm the owner of Mylani Vegan Haircare. That's evolved too, because it originally started off as just like a catalyst from the salon. So it was Chadowboxx luxury brand care at first, because it was just like another umbrella, or another thing that I did under the umbrella of the salon. And then the pandemic happened, and I started being a lot more aware of why I was doing what I was doing. And that's when I was like, oh, wow, everything is vegan. That's always been what I've wanted, because I know that we don't have any counter, actions from things being plant-based and being, pure and for them, but still yet effective. So that has evolved as I've grown and as I've learned more and figuring out why am I doing what I'm doing and what am I trying to provide to people. Then that evolved. And then I had none but time to sit at home and think. I was home for 4 months, so I had time to formulate and see the needs of people. My clients are super spoiled. They had been coming to me every 2 weeks. They didn't even wash their own hair. They didn't comb their own hair. One time I'd be like, so I want you to wrap and do, and they'd be like, say what now? Like, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Right.
Like,
I know that.
Not doing all that.
Yeah. So
I say that all the time. I'm not doing all that.
I'm not doing all that. And they were like, they meant that.
Serious.
They, 100%.
Sorry. Not doing
If there's anything they meant, that was that. So, now they're at home. It's illegal for me to touch them. So I started creating these COVID kits that was basically everything that I would use if they were in my chair. So shampoo, conditioner, the leave-in, the styling products. I even sent them the combs, the clips that they would use. And then it also came with a 60-minute Zoom call so I can walk them through how to actually do it. Because for most of them, they're like, what are you talking about? I just lay back and let you do you. So I feel like that was, for most people, they saw the pandemic as a difficult time. For me, it was a time of new beginnings and just growth and, really like evaluating what were the needs of people. And then it also, gave me the idea that like, okay, if this small pocket of people have these needs, then I can only imagine what other women across this country and across the globe have. And so it really did open my eyes to how much more potential that there was instead of just, I was only that's why I was named after the salon. I was hyper focused on just my clients, just what they needed, and realized like, no, there's other people who need this. Yeah, there's more. So it gave me that chance to like just broaden my horizons a whole lot. So, so that's who I am. I am a person who sees a problem and figures out how to fix it and make you look good. Right.
Okay. That's what's up.
And Mylani is really all across the country. Like that's not just a conversation point.
Yeah, we out here. We're outside now, and that's been an amazing thing. I think the only place I haven't touched is the Dakotas. Okay. I don't know what they needs are there. I ain't figured them out yet. But yeah, Mylani has been outside, and that's been a blessing to see, and that's, like I say, what I've been going through this week as well, because right now I'm in the process of wanting to rebrand a little bit more and evolve into other needs, and then also just kind of, 2024 has been an interesting year for all of us. And especially, I think, in the business space, you see major corporations closing. You see, a lot of people who just did not make it through this year. Their business did not flourish through this year. I feel extremely blessed to be in this place that I can look forward to what the future is going to look like. And I feel confident about what that future is going to look like. But I took some hits, but I've been able to sit back, lick my wounds now and say, okay, what did that teach me? What do I need to tighten up? What do I need to change? What is this telling me? You know what I mean? What are people's needs? Their needs are a little bit different than they were in 2017, 2020, so kind of being able to sit back and get outside of myself and see what more is on the table. What more do we need to do, And that's kind of been the place that I've been in, but just trying to evolve, and that's why I say, like, I think my birthday is what kind of set things off, because you were like, okay, so how are we going to outdo the 43-year-old me,
right.
Yeah. How are we going to do that? So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us, I feel like 24 has been a year of just doing it.
Just doing it.
Yeah.
Just doing it.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't before.
Got you.
Yeah,
Not
you
them
would think,
kind of
like, I
people.
want to do this and I want to, forever.
Are you guys overthinkers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because I know that
I got to plan it all.
You can't help it.
Plan it all
She's
out.
Aquarius.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Yeah.
It's that air sign
Y'all
stuff.
can't
We
help
it. And people will be like, stop overthinking. I'm like,
I can't.
That's
Like,
just
what
how my
you
brain
think
works,
if I,
you
think I want to be like, okay,
I don't want to
like
think
the rest,
about all this.
fire signs get to be, because she is Sagittarius. So, you know how G will be like she, like, y'all can just do stuff. And
right.
it's
But
like,
I also have a Virgo moon. So,
so you're a little.
I'm very, like, over analytical.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. I am that
Do you do
person
that quickly?
Sometimes.
Okay. See,
Sometimes.
it's that fire.
Yeah. And I always tell people, I'm like, I'm that person who, will jump, and then while I'm midair will be like,
Thinking about it.
do I got a parachute?
That's what I'm talking about. Well, but I was gonna say there are times where it's like, okay, I want to do this, and it's like, let me do it before I change my mind or anybody else does. It feels more like I'm gonna go do this real quick,
Right.
and then I'm not gonna tell I'm gonna tell somebody as soon as I'm done doing it. Then I'm like, I bought some, or whatever. And she does it too.
Yeah.
So that's how her candle business started. We were talking about candles, and she was like, I went and bought a whole bunch of candle stuff.
See?
And it was like, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
What we doing?
What we doing? Exactly. Now that we've already done, now what we gonna do with this?
Right.
That's a space that, like, I'm a little more comfortable in my 40s.
Yeah.
Before I'm like, oh, I can't do that because here are the list of
XYZ.
repercussions. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then that's not even the list of what ifs and what abouts, and so
yeah.
I think a couple of episodes ago, I was talking about, being afraid of you don't know what's going to come of it, of the failure. But a lot of times knowing what it takes to be successful can be the thing that kind of keeps like, no, I can't do that because I know it's going to take X, Y, Z. And looking at my life right now, I don't have time for
X,
that.
Y, Z.
Right, right.
And so just putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And now it feels like there's a lot more time, or just realizing, you know what?
There's always been time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's just a little bit more passion behind it, a little bit more, like we've been talking about. That's been kind of the theme of our podcast: the release of other people's thoughts, ideas, and everything else about who you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
I was telling somebody that yesterday. Like, I've always been myself, like always been authentically myself. But in my younger days, it was within the parameters of what society thinks it's supposed to be. And then, because in my head, it was like kind of the rules were this white fence around me. And I'm in this yard and I can't get out because that fence is right there. Like, but it's not, though.
Right.
It's not there. And I know I said this before, but like the first time her husband said to me, all the rules were made up, I was like, all the rules are not made up, but all the rules are made up.
They are made up, yeah.
But in my head, I was like, no. The rules were there.
Right. Yeah.
I need to know how to operate. I need the rules to be there. So,
yeah.
And it's a different space to be like, man.
Some rules, okay. I get it. Those, for whatever reasons.
But that one, no.
But the ones that pertain to what I choose to do with me, myself, and I, that's whatever I want it to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Couldn't have told me that 10 years ago.
I have the benefit of having been, I think I kind of do have middle child syndrome. And I also have always been like the hard-headed one. And I, whenever I learned how to, like, I resented that for so long because of, that perception will, like you say, it'll keep you fenced in, it'll keep you boxed in. So you're trying to somehow do you, but also within the parameters of how people see you. I lived a lot of my life through other people's lenses. Even me working corporate, I wanted to be a hairstylist since I was 6 years old. I knew what I was meant to do. But it was, and I went to beauty school at 16, but it also was the conversation around that other people had that they didn't see it for me. So I lived within that and then eventually went and got a real job, because that was what people saw for me. And so I just, showed up in these spaces, just, it still wanting to gain the approval and fit within that parameter of what, okay, I'm in alignment with this. I see this for you. And then, like I say, it took for me to get fired, from the corporate space to be like, okay, now, are you going to use this as an opportunity to actually do you? Because doing what other people saw for you right now at this point got you broke. You know what I'm saying? You at home, no job. You know what I mean? And you're also miserable. You really do not like your life. You don't like you right now. So it took for me to, I literally uprooted myself and my kids and disappeared. They literally was like, is she alive? Because I really did. I just got up one day and left and was like, this is going to be this chapter that I'm going to do me. And I'm going to get rid of the safety blanket of all the people who I know, the familiar space, and I'm going to go down here and establish me. Now we're about to see who Charlisa is. And that's been an interesting journey in itself, because I was, I think, still trying to figure that part out. What did that look like? And then also still there's that little kid in you still that is like, look at me, look, you approved, right?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, I did it. Isn't this what you saw for me? So, kind of undoing that part of it. And you're in this internal conflict between what they see for you and what you see for you. So that's definitely been, I think, a big part of my chapter. And then whenever you really start walking in your own truth and your own you, that's a whole different place. But it's also uncomfortable because there's a lot of conflict that comes with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It comes with, because they can't see it. They're who does she think she is?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Which is a weird way to look at people, right? Like, how are you mad at me because I like me?
Right.
Or how are you mad at me because I decided I wanted to do this and I did it? Like, you can do it.
Right.
Maybe not this, but something.
Right.
Or maybe it is this.
Exactly.
Maybe
and
you
that's
do
fine,
it and
but
it's more successful and you or it's not same successful or it fails or whatever. But why are you mad at me?
That, right.
But it's even beyond the type of things that we're in for artistic purposes, but other spaces, literally just being yourself. Or if you are in a corporate or nonprofit or for-profit environment and it's you walking around here, you're good at your job, so people don't like you. It's weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
I'm good at my job and I like that I'm good at my job.
And I'm also confident in that fact. I'm walking in that.
I'm not sitting around here cowering because people come around. Why does that bother you?
Yeah.
I feel like it's low key how white people walk around looking at black people all the time. How dare you just be walking around here comfortable? How dare
how dare you?
I'm not talking about all white people, but super racist
norms,
people.
Though. It's the norms. It's let's start with just being a woman. You're not supposed to be bold and independent and do you, that's why she can't keep this person. That's why, there's so many judgments that are placed upon what people think that people are supposed to behave like. So when you're outside of, it's just all about the authenticity. When you're outside of that parameter, it makes, my stomach. It makes, I'm hungry, y'all. It makes people extremely uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And that's the challenge because most of us, that's why you get so many, I always say that older Black women are probably some of the meanest people on this planet. And I'm going, the reason why, if you think about it, they come from a generation of, living in the box that other people placed them in. You were supposed to be the wife. You were supposed to mother a certain way. You were supposed to work a certain way. You were supposed to just operate a certain way. And then they get to this age that watching other people live outside of that upsets them.
Yeah.
And so it comes across they're overly judgmental. They're overly just mad at everything. You know what I mean? And also probably resentful at, I should have just went ahead and did it.
Should have just did it.
I should have just said F all that and did it. You know what I mean? And so I do say, I'm like, you encounter, we know the aunties and the ones that are in that generation that they're just mean. And, a lot of that comes from not even being encouraged
and not feeling able to.
Right. Everyone said you couldn't. That's not what you're supposed to do.
You can't.
And then there's that dynamic that it really does, depending on the generation. You literally couldn't.
You couldn't.
Yeah. You could not buy that house on your own. You couldn't.
You didn't want to or was afraid to, but you couldn't.
Then the generation that didn't do all this because that's what the generation before them taught them. Then I think our generation started coming around like, well, maybe even I feel like my mom's generation kind of was like, I'm going to
challenge that a little bit.
Yeah. And then our generation was more like I ain't doing all that. And then these new generations, like, I just don't know. They
scared.
doing their own thing.
Right. like I admire them, but I'm also afraid of them a little bit. They scare me a little bit.
Key, like,
I don't know what.
Like if we gonna
there's like no parameters at all. I'm like, I feel like some of the parameters is okay.
Right. And then the opportunities they have, I feel like are not going to produce any. Think about like there's no jobs at the malls. There's no jobs. Everything is sold online. All this stuff that has been taken away from opportunities.
And that was our foundation. That's how we started.
Yes. I'm like, what the heck they gonna have?
Right.
But they're gonna have something because if you think about it, our generation before us, or not the one before us, but a couple back, we wouldn't have been working. We would have been at home already married to somebody that we probably don't even like.
Getting our head knocked between the refrigerator and the cabinet.
While he going down the street and down the corner and then to the bar and coming home broke.
Yeah. Exactly.
So they gonna have something we don't know what it is,
right?
But
it's interesting to watch.
It is because they're the way that they think. Who was I telling Navaya they was all weird? I said their whole generation is.
They was offended, but it's like we all weird.
But like I don't. I told them I said I don't mean that in a bad way. Please embrace whatever your weirdness is. Embrace it. Like weird people have the most fun.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's authentic. But
just be you.
But we just don't get it.
Right. No. Like the ones before us didn't get us. The ones before them didn't get them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, it's a good weirdo. It's just interesting to watch how y'all brains work.
Yeah. Oh
my God, I'm about to tell a story about my son real quick.
We'd be wondering.
My son left home early to go to school. Way earlier than what he should have. Because he wanted to be on time.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's not our normal thing for you to go get on the city bus. You get in the car. We all leave together. Some days he'll be like, can I catch the bus? I'm ready. And we still trying to get ready. I'm like, that's fine.
Like,
no big deal. But he just decided to leave about an hour before he normally does. I'm asleep. I get a text message that says, bye, Mom. But I'm asleep. So I wake up 40 minutes later.
Oh, wow.
Like, bye, Mom.
What does that mean, my?
Where the hell are you going? Like, you know what I'm saying?
At this point, he don't win.
What are we doing? Right. You gone. Are you there yet? Like, where are you going? Not bye, Mom, I'm going to school. Bye, Mom, I'll talk to you later when I get home.
Is this the bye forever? Mom, like, what's happening right now?
Yeah. What is up? So I text him and said, where the fuck are you at? He was like, on the bus.
What bus?
Okay. What bus going where?
Right.
What are you doing? I'm going to school. What? Why would you any other time? Mom, did you know? Mom, have you watched? Mom, can you see? Mom, blah, blah. You'll come in my room. Mom, what is this? Mom, I can do this. You don't care if I'm asleep. I could be in the middle of like a phone call. You don't care. Why did you not come in my room to tell me you was going to school? I said, it seems like you're hiding something. It seems like you're being sneaky. This is weird. And he was like, I'm not hiding anything. Do you want me to come home? But by the time he said that, I went back to sleep because it wasn't time for me to get up yet.
Right.
And he's out in the streets. And so in my head, I'm like, that's crazy, but whatever. I'll talk to you I said, I'll talk to you when you get home. And then he said, I'm not being sneaky. Do you want me to come back? But by that time I went back to sleep. I'm getting the last of my stuff. And then I hear, and I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking it's my daughter. Like, you ready? And he's like, hi, Mom. I said, what do you mean, hi, Mom? I said, what are you doing here? And he was like, I came back. For what?
Right.
Because now we're at a time where I only have time to drop her off on time for school.
Mm-hmm.
We leave a little earlier when we have you because that's another stop.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you at my house?
And why did that bus ride make sense? And why are you here?
I had so many questions. And he was like, well, I came back. And I said, for what? You were over halfway to school. Why did you get off the bus, cross the street, and come all the way back home? I don't know. No. I don't know. It's not a thing. There was a reason. You had a thought process and I want it.
Yeah.
Like, I need to understand.
Yes.
He said because he was upset, because it irritated him that I was texting him, like, where are you at, blah, 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 blah. Because he was like, in his mind, I'm going to school. Why are you worried about where I'm at? He figured it out.
Wow.
And I said...
But he didn't have it figured out. Because if he did, you would have went there.
He said that. And then he said, well, when you said you wanted to talk when I got home, I came home.
Oh.
I said, no. That is not acceptable. You didn't think, there's no way you thought that. And he said, well, yeah. And then I figured I would just leave when you leave to take her to school. And then, so that way you know where I'm at and when I'm leaving. I said, get out of my room.
Right. Like, go. Get out of here.
I said, take your ass, and I'm not taking you. Take your ass to school.
Yeah. Go get back on that same bus that you was on.
I was so confused. I was like, Kennitha, explain it to me.
Right.
I need help.
Well, no, you would have to have logic, and like, you can't explain that. I remember asking my son when
that
he
was
was
his
a teenager.
brain.
That's how their brain works. I remember asking my son when he was a teenager, what were you thinking? And he was like, I wasn't. And that was an epiphany for me. Because I was like, that was the honest thing that you have said. You wasn't. And that is normally what happens. You know, there we go. We're going to jump and then we're going to figure out the whole parachute situation later.
Right. That was him on the way to school.
The fact that they hadn't thought about that yet.
Right.
We're just doing this.
Yeah, just midair.
Just do it.
Mind you, this bus that he took would have got him to school at 7:40. And school don't start till 8:30.
See.
And he was like, well, I wanted to be on time.
So are they just not bothering to look at schedules or anything?
He just looked at how long it would take him to get there. And
that was it. And it made sense.
And normally he does do a lot of the I wasn't. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
I knew this had an explanation. And I needed to know what it was. And I was still
I need you to walk me through this process because I'm confused.
I might have been in a better space before I found out why.
Right. Now I'm really mad.
Because at first I was like, that doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. You should have did that. Then you explained it and I'm like,
so it really doesn't make any sense.
So that should just let you know that's how his brain works.
Man, and I be knowing that.
Work with that.
But you know how it's kind of like, it's like getting a booster of it. You know, of the thought, like,
it's me realizing right now how my brother, I'm like, he's 43, 44. He just turned 44.
So it's going to always work like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to depress you, but I was like, no, that's going to be him as an adult male. Yeah,
but you get used to it, right? So then it just be like, oh, I can just imagine him being 23 doing this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, that's where we are.
He may never.
It's okay. And that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. Now you know.
It just be moments where you just be like, right, I'm raising people.
Yeah. Whole people.
Just keep hoping.
Right.
Keep trying.
Yes.
But, you know, it's also one of those things where your kids, you know, at home, they present that way. And then they go to somebody else's house and they do all of the things.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And it's like, hold on now. You know, but at some point, you're proud.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad.
Like, I did good.
I take care of it. But when you come home, what's the problem?
Right.
Because you don't do that here.
Yeah.
And I need you to do that here because that's what I don't give a damn about over there.
Right, exactly. Because you can just not go over there.
Right, exactly. I need you to
but
do
this
that
is
here
where you have
home.
to function. You know, here
I need this clean. I need this. You know, level of. Give
but
a shit.
The psychology behind it is you're at the safe place, right? So this is where I can be messy, emotionally, physically. I get to test all the boundaries because you're still gonna love me.
Right.
I don't clean my room and you're still gonna love me. You might yell. I might get grounded, but you're still going to love me. If I don't clean up after myself over there, I might not be allowed to come back.
Right.
Or they might talk about me to other people.
Or there's the accolades. Do you know what I mean? Like you're actually acknowledged for you cleaning the kitchen and doing things without necessarily having to be asked. Like, oh my God, they don't get that same energy when they're at home because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you gold stars and hand claps
for cleaning up after yourself.
Right.
Yeah. But they might,
But we need to.
You'll get those like if I walk in here and this kitchen really look like I cleaned it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay.
I see you.
I see you. You really cleaning up the kitchen.
Right.
I said, yo, cleaning up the kitchen. Like, I won't do the backhands. In my head, I'll do the backhand.
Yeah.
Instead of your version of.
No, for real.
This is.
Right. You ain't swept the floor.
And then it'd be like, low key, like, what do you want though?
Yeah.
Why does the kitchen look like this?
Yes.
Why is it so clean in here?
Yeah. All the extra.
Yeah.
I feel like the only time they really, in my house, when G come home, he got this little thing. He says, all right. He tell him, take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. Walk the house.
Yeah.
And they walk the house and they got to find everything that is wrong.
Oh, wow.
And they got to report back. And then they got to go clean. And they actually clean the whole house every time he does it.
I love it.
And I'm like, but how come y'all don't clean when I tell you to clean the house?
That's all the kids.
But they don't do it.
My kids got caught up, swept up in that one day. After Halloween. I went to go get them the next day. And I got there. He don't know if he just got there. He just woke up. He's like, oh, no, I know. Our kids been like that since day one. Y'all all one people. So, but I don't know if he just woke up or just got there. No, I think he just woke up and he was like, started calling everybody name, everybody. And I was like, well, sit down. Y'all clearly got some stuff to do.
Right.
And then he did that. Y'all walked the house. And it's like watching like a conveyor belt, right? Because you just see kids going through kitchens and back and then downstairs and then upstairs and all around. Okay. And then they'll be like, person by person, what did you find? And then they all say what they found.
Yeah.
Go clean it up.
Wow.
And then I sat there in amazement, like,
and it works.
Like,
he just started doing that this year.
Maybe it's the bass in the voice, though. I don't know.
Always the bass in the voice. It's always. I feel
if you know G, he can be a little intimidating. And that's dad to them. They at the same time, but they try not to poke the bear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And he telling you what to do. Oh, he going. When you get done,
he means it.
Right.
He meant it the first
y'all
time.
gonna be doing wall sits.
Oh, okay.
What's funny is he comes from a military background.
Oh,
so they gotta do wall sits, push ups, sit ups. Like you're gonna be working out.
And you gotta really do them. You can't do no pretend.
Yeah, no little modified version.
Yes, and it's funny. My daughter's in high school. She will win a wall sit challenge.
Oh wow,
easy.
Wow.
Easy. No, there's very little effort, right?
Yeah.
And it's because how many wall sits she's had to do. She had to do wall sits all day one time, She's like, I got this, no problem. And they had a challenge at school. She's on the wrestling team. And she won.
See?
She said she went even longer just to put it out of reach. Like, no, it wasn't by chance that I won this, It's like,
wow.
That's wild.
I enjoy those. I like that punishment over whoopings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they benefit. It's something that's going to benefit their body. It might hurt in the moment. And it
also
make you think
like
twice.
mental strengthening too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like sit there, like literally sit there on that wall and think.
But they feel like it's torture, girl.
Yeah.
The kids feel like anything is torture. I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off. I'm going to punch you in the head. All of it's torture.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
I never did the whooping of my kids, but it's funny, like when my daughter was younger and like, I'd be like, I don't whoop her. People be like, you need to whoop her because she's gonna be like out here breaking into houses and cars. My daughter is the most laid back, casual person. Like,
right.
She's like, no, I'm not doing that, and I don't want to do that. But what I do want to do is X, Y, Z. Like, she's very cool, very chill, very 14. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have not one whooping. Does she have a smart mouth? She does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But not because I didn't whoop her.
Teenage girls.
Yeah.
But see, that's again that you could have like just conformed to what other people think that you should, because everybody has these ideas of what you're supposed to do, know, and it just takes you. That's why I say, like, even having to be in your authenticity when it comes to mothering, because so many people have so many opinions over what we should do. And that's why this, that, and the other. And, with me being a single mom, I definitely dealt with so many opinions of what others feel like I should do or what you should have done is this, that, and the other. And, you really do have to walk in what works for you.
Absolutely.
And even regardless of the outcome, because it's also, I say life is about choices.
Mm-hmm.
You can do X, Y, Z. And if a child is going to make the choice of what they're going to do, it had nothing to do with whether or not you whooped them enough, wall sat them enough, you know what I mean? Or whatever. It had to do with their options and their choices. They made that decision because they also have to be in their own level of authenticity. This is who I feel like I am, and this is what I'm walking in. You know, and some kids is a little bit more extra with it than others, you know?
And I've seen this post recently. I've seen this conversation before where they talk about people out here in the streets and, oh, well, you failed them as a parent and blah, blah, blah. And like, I've had friends who like, nope, I have my mom and my dad, all my grandparents. I have a great family. I'm just a thug. I'm just good. I am a gangster.
Yeah,
that's
that was
me.
Exciting.
I like that. That's what I do. I don't bring none of this shit to my family. You know what I'm saying? But I'm out here.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the way I was brought up.
Exactly.
And I'm like, just like how in the other, was it last podcast or whatever, we were talking about, you know, forgiving our parents or, you know, understanding that they're humans or whatever.
Right.
Like, we need to understand that about our children too.
Absolutely.
Like, they are their own people. They are human. We are filling up their toolbox.
Right.
They have the right to open it up, look through, keep what they do and don't want, just like we did.
Absolutely.
My mom didn't whoop me like that or whoop my brother like that, but we came from a family where you can get a whooping though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's something I'm like, nope, don't whoop me, don't whoop my kids.
Right.
I'm not gonna whoop my kids.
Yeah.
I chose to take that out the toolbox. But it's the same thing with them. Like, we are packing that bag and that toolbox or whatever, packing that lunch best we can. I'm giving you everything I got.
Yeah.
But you're going to choose to keep what you want to keep and do what you want to do with it.
Absolutely.
Right.
I always say, I'm like, all my dirt. I mean, like, my mom had us in church like 8 days out the week. You know what I mean? All day. Sunday service, Bible study, like all the things. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of my decisions that I made had absolutely nothing to do with who my parents were.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, me becoming a teen mom, I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, you know, procreating in her home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it has everything to do with your choices, your decisions, you know, how you are choosing to craft your life and what your story is, because we all have our own story that we have to write, you know? So.
And understanding that does not happen at 18. That does not happen when they move out. They are already making decisions their whole life. It's just they're making
100%.
more and more decisions as they get older. We all do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's weird when I see people acting like their kids are not their own people.
Right.
These are not, I mean, they're your kids because that's what we say, but they are not yours. They are themselves. You know what I'm saying? They belong to themselves. They make up their own mind.
Right.
Even if you say pick that up, they're going to pick it up, but that's because you said so. They might not have wanted to.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't said that, it probably would have sat there. You know what I'm saying? Because
so
that's
you do
who
have to
they
provide
are.
The you know, hopefully the foundation, but wherever they go outside of that has everything to do with who they are. I often see, like, we have a mutual person that we're friends with on social media, and I see, you know, the very strong opinions about, you know, just, and it's very just like one-sided and very like skewed in that vision a lot of times. And I'm just like, that does not fit the narrative of every situation, you know, and it's, you know, we should not categorize and generalize, you know, people, because people are going to people and there's no clear blueprint of what that looks
There's
like.
not. We all fit in the same categories. We're all Black women in our 40s, right? We all live in Portland, but then y'all are hairstylists. I'm not. We're podcasters. You're not, right? Like, so you can't put us all, I mean, there's boxes where we obviously overlap, but there is not one box that has us all in it.
Exactly.
That's weird.
Exactly.
To be like, oh yeah, y'all are.
Yeah,
no.
this is what you should do. Yeah.
It's just, the way to do this is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm one of them people like, you know what? Because you said it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's person. Like, you know.
Like it makes sense.
Life-threatening or something. I might do it. But like other stuff, like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that authenticity too, though. Do you know what I mean? That some people don't have the vision of seeing outside of like a certain picture, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be that person that like decided to color outside of the lines and this is the picture I'm creating. You know, a lot of people like that makes, like you say, it makes them uncomfortable. because they could never fathom that being how they operate.
Right.
You know, and that's a very uncomfortable. And I'm tell people, I'm like, that doesn't make you wrong, but it also doesn't make me wrong that that I chose to do something different and that I had a different vision.
And so was 1 + 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And art is supposed to be subjective, right? My life is my art. The story I'm telling. Your life is your art. And then, but even, I mean, they do that with art too. That's not music.
Right.
That's like one of my, I think my biggest pet peeves is when people are like, that's not music. I'll be like, that's not my kind of music. You know, like a lot of what our children listen to. Well, not necessarily our kids, because our kids listen to a lot of what we listen to or came up on.
My son listens to hard rock. So like,
okay.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to anything that would be the normal genres that I like would have like that he would have grown up hearing in the house. For instance, like I play music when I'm cleaning the house. You know what I mean? Like he don't want nothing to do with Anita Baker. You know what I'm saying?
Sleepy time music.
Yeah, right. You don't want to hear none of that. No R&B. Like, and it's so funny whenever I realized just how comfortable he was in just being him because he is so outside of the normal Black male, you know, like aesthetic. Do you know what I'm saying? And so it was just funny, like when he had first started middle school, he's like, you know, today was just a very hard day. Today was a very rough week. He was like, you know, I was like, well, how can I help you? You know, like, how can I make things a little bit better for you? And he was like, you know, I think I'm just going to come home and, you know, make me a latte. And then, because, you know, he'd be working at Keurig, you know, he was like, I think I'm just going to come home and make me a latte and just, you know, listen to some, you know, some rock music, you know, because it finds me, you know.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that. That's good. Like you have found out what works for you and what helps you decompress and what puts you in your space. But I also was like reflecting on that because I'm like, I love that for you. That you found what worked for you. You found the genre, you found the decompression, you found the things that would not be the typical norm for what society and for what other people and even my family would see would be the norm for a 14-year-old Black male.
Right.
But you are walking in that and you don't care. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I could be a lot more like him.
Yeah.
You know, like, and just finding that, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody but you. I'm like, that is so dope. I think my son is so dope. He is really, I think he's helped me so much, especially, you know, he's on the autism spectrum. And so I have like 2 groups of children. Like I have my older, you know, like my 2 older children are adults. They're living their own lives and they're on their own. And then I have the teen at home still. And, you know, with him being diagnosed at 5, I feel like that was the beginning of like my transformation as well, because I knew for one that I had to be his biggest advocate. I had to educate myself and inform myself and also be confident in how I navigated his education and how I navigated this world, like even the way that I discipline him or really don't need to because he be doing him and it's not problematic. So, you know, but even the way that I operate around him is so unlike how I raised my older 2, but it's also so outside of how I was raised and how my family operates. And so even like, you know, needing to navigate that, like whenever it comes to family events and things like that, and them seeing how differently I let him operate, you know, was another thing that I had to make sure that I was confident within myself, because I have to advocate both for him and also for my parenting and the way that I do things, you know, but also realizing how much I grew. My patience is way longer than it used to be. You know what I mean? I've always been a firecracker. I'm popping off in a minute. I don't know if it's little people complex, you know, I'm 5'1".
A lot of my friends are short.
That's the first thing you said to me when you finally met me too. You were like, you actually are short.
She said she was short, but it's different when you see her.
Because I have a tall head online. So I think that I just and you looked and you like looked down like, oh.
Like
okay.
she's down there.
No, I don't put too much out in it.
Right.
But just, you know, those dynamics of like, I used to be so quick to like, oh, you guys, you know, I'm going to show you guys. And just having to be there's a different way to like walk in that confidence and walk in that, you know, that sureness of yourself without needing to add that extra layer of feeling like you need to be the rah-rah all the time, you know, but also being a lot more empathetic. Cause I think I identify, I think everybody autistic now. Like I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I identify it so much more in people, and I find that I'm so much more empathetic towards people and their needs. And I completely, you know, attribute that to me having to be, you know what I mean, this line of defense for my son.
Yeah.
Because I wish somebody would mistreat him. You know what I'm saying? Or I wish someone would be impatient with him, because we all, and that's the other thing, it helped me change my perspective, because we all have shortcomings. We all have something that we don't excel at. We all have some type of challenge that we've had to overcome. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily with the diagnosis all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we all are. Like, I don't let them use, like, even in his meetings, we don't use the words disability. We don't use the words handicap or any of those type of terms, because those are all subjective if you think about it. We all have something that we have a challenge with.
Right.
You know, so should we all be categorized? Should we all be, you know, have that jacket put on us because you think I'm not able to, you know, to accomplish this? You know,
and it does hinder a child, because when I first got my son, we did the IEP meeting, or they were telling me all these things that he couldn't do, and we know that because of this and that, and you know, we're in kindergarten. They're like, you know, like he can't draw a house and he can't. And I said, what are y'all talking about?
Right.
I'm like, do I need to go home and get all these No, but he could do it.
Oh,
but it was because they were like, we know. You know, like I said, y'all need to cut that
when you're
right
put in a
now.
setting that you're not expected to succeed, you usually don't.
And he didn't.
Yeah,
he was like, well, if I ain't got to do it and I can sit here and play,
right,
it's in kindergarten.
Then so be it.
Yeah, I'm going to play instead of doing what you saying I got to do.
Right.
And they would do that. Oh, no, we know he doesn't. Yes, he can.
Right.
Not only that, like we just left OMSI where there's this a thing where this like magnetic little clear plastic things you put on the light, and you like people are building houses, but they're all flat. I look over at him and his house is 3D.
See,
stop playing with my child.
They see things exactly.
He can do. If you talking about he can't draw a house, but he can build one. Like don't do that.
Yeah.
Like y'all are letting whatever labels he came in with be who he is, instead of challenging him with these so-called labels.
Exactly.
It's like if you go to the gym and you telling your trainer, yeah, but I can't do push-ups. They're not going to be like, okay, well, we won't worry about
push-ups.
We'll never entertain
a push-up ever.
It's like, okay, well, let's see what we got to do to get you to be able to do a push-up, and see if you are actually able to do a push-up,
right?
Or you're just not in a position yet to do it, right? Yeah. And it was like they never even asked him if he could really do stuff like that. It was if you ask a child if they want to and they don't, no, I don't want to.
Right.
But can you draw a house, or not even can you? For me, I'm like, draw a house for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Draw. They tried to do the same thing with my daughter.
In what you're capable of doing. I mean, my son was nonverbal until he was 5. I didn't even hear him say my name until he was 5, right before he was entering kindergarten. And, you know, actually being able to like vocalize his needs. You know what I mean? So there were a lot of perceptions of what he would never be able to do. You know, he's in general ed, you know, classes now. He has been since elementary school. You would never know that at one point he didn't use his voice, you know, and that he couldn't communicate with you verbally. You would never know that with who you see today. You know, and a lot of that is because I never allowed anyone to say what he was not going to be able to do. You know, he, you know, wasn't making eye contact. He didn't know how, like, he didn't like change. He still kind of doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, but there were so many parameters. They were like, autistic kids normally don't do this, and they normally never will, and this, that, and the other. And there are no two people on the spectrum. That's why it's called a spectrum. A spectrum is
it's
infinite.
A wide variety.
You know what I mean? And so for you to say what a person is not going to be able to do, and that has been inspiration in even how I live. That's why I say I feel like, not that my other children are not my blessings, but I feel like he, especially with him being my last and with him coming right before I was turning 30, you know, and me being a different woman and being, you know, at a different level of maturity, I definitely know that it was nothing but God that brought him to me, that gifted him to me at that time, you know, and with him being who he is, you know, because it helped shape me into like, yeah, you do need to live outside of what people are going to expect of you. You know, it is okay for you to, not just out of spite, but just because of you never know what you're capable of, you know, so who am I to tell you that the world is yours and, you know, the possibilities are endless, but I'm living a limited life.
Right.
You know, so he definitely is, I think, a huge contribution for, you know, why I have succeeded in business, why I've succeeded in a lot of other aspects of my life, because for one, the stakes are different. We can't fail, you know. And if we're going to fail, we're going to fail miserably. We're going to do the big one. You know what I mean? But I gave it my all, you know, and just opening your eyes to looking outside of just what even you can see sometimes, you know what I mean? And just walking in that has been, I definitely contribute that to him.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right. That's beautiful.
Okay, so we're hitting our hour mark.
Yeah.
It was so great to have you on.
This has been a great conversation. I can't believe it's been an hour already.
I know. It goes by so fast when you're having good conversation.
We can sit here and do this. I'll be like, I can do this more than once a week.
Right. I hear Philip be like, cut it.
Yes, I love that.
All right. Okay, so our gems. Time for our gems. I'll start. I was just thinking, like, what is my gem going to be? And I think my gem is just to speak up and say what you need. And, you know, it's easy to listen to all those outside voices and, you know, people who say whatever they say. But if we speak up and let people know what we need, and if that need is not met, then, you know, find out a different way. Maybe that's your answer.
Right.
You're not giving what you need to make something happen. Maybe that's your answer. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So just speak up.
Love that.
Yeah. I think mine is going to be just acceptance. I guess that's where I'm at right now. And just things being what they are, being okay with people not agreeing with you, how you do things, how you live life. Obviously, there's, you know, areas where that's not okay. Like if you're doing harmful stuff to yourself or others, then, you know, whatever. But not just in your lifestyle, but the way you think, the way you move, the way you, whatever. Like for me right now, the way that I'm grieving. And I say it like that because people don't view it as me grieving
properly.
But you know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with it. It's obviously affecting me. I'm not sleeping like that. But the same time, I'm mentally working through. I'm resting. You know, I'm doing it how I need to do it. I don't have to be falling out on the floor to be, you know, grieving.
Throw the ball. You know. Yeah.
I've accepted that this is how this is going to go for me. And that, I mean, but I don't know what it'll be tomorrow.
Right.
Not saying that I'm saying that so people will be okay with, oh, maybe tomorrow she'll cry. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, you know, this is my processes and how I'm going through it.
Yeah.
And accepting that that's going to be weird to some people and they're going to keep asking questions. And for me, it's feeling like I know you sound concerned, but it's like, I already told you. Like, I'm trying not to get irritated with that. So also, that's what I'm saying, like accepting that how other people view it is they may be out of concern or nosiness or whatever, but ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
I said what I said, which I love saying that. I love being like, I said what I said, or it is what it is.
Right.
Them are some of my favorites to say.
Right. And I meant that.
And then I have nothing to say after that, like nothing. So I'm treating like this, like that too. Yeah, I'm good.
Right.
I say what I said. It is what it is.
Yes.
There's nothing more to say.
Yeah.
So
love
that'll be my gym today.
I love. Oh well, I guess my my gym. I think this is my do what the F you want to do year. I think this is I'm in my do what the F you want to do era.
Yeah,
and like be comfortable with that. You know, and whatever that brings with it is what it brings with it. But do it big.
Yeah,
you know, like I say, if it fails, you failed miserably. You failed big. You know, if you succeed, you know, you did it well, and you gave your all into it, but do what I'm hungry, y'all. But do what you want to do. I think that is a mantra that I don't see anyone who can't benefit from that.
Right.
Especially like you say, as long as it's not harmful, as long as it's not like, I'm not, you know, what you eat don't make me shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, as long as it is not harming you, then I'm going to do me. And I'm going to really love that for me. You know, so.
And I would love that for you.
Right? Man, I love it for everybody.
Yes.
Even if I don't like you, I love it for you.
I love that for you. Yeah.
And there's not a people on the I don't like you list. It's either I love you or you don't exist.
I just don't do you. Yeah, that's just, I mean, that's fine. Yeah.
But either way, I still love whatever that is for you. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never any ill will.
Right.
Just love. Go ahead. Do you?
Yeah.
It's weird that people feel like you have to harbor that. And it's like, but I don't.
I really don't.
Yeah. I don't understand the people who take the time to speak negatively on other people like that.
Especially if it's someone you don't like. Like, even when I look at social media, why are there so many people that follow people that don't like them? I've never understood that.
That's weird, right?
I've never understood
to be like,
that.
I don't want
why
that
are you
energy.
in this space if you don't care for me? I don't ingest anything that I don't care for. If you're somebody who is not in alignment with anything that I'm interested in, it's just not even on my radar. So that is such another weird, that's something we might have to touch in another day, because that takes so much effort, so much energy to even involve yourself in something that you supposedly hate so much.
Right.
Why are
Maybe
you
that's
here?
a ladies and beverages conversation.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we
have another podcast. You can come on that one too.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I'm with that. We got to do this again. I enjoyed it.
Well,
thank you for coming. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
And thank you all for listening and joining us on Talk to Them.
Ooh, where every story matters and every voice counts.
Every story counts.
Every story counts and every voice matters. We just changed it, and y'all know I be struggling week to week to remember what it was. And then whatever.
She gonna get it.